We were down in the waterfront. Is that what they call it? Down at the ferryman. What am I talking about, the waterfront? That's because of the proximity to the river, of course. The ferryman. And I think the lad's name down there was Ryan. Is it Tom or Jim Ryan? O'Brien. Was it O'Brien? Yeah. I know, I had doubts about it. Very nice fella, yeah, really nice fella. And he bought that house and it was tumbling down, you know. And we were in the basement. And we were doing our singing away there. I don't think we really enjoyed our stay there. I never liked it I never felt that comfortable in it, whatever way the setup was, you know. And I don't think they were among our best years. It wouldn't be for me now. I don't know about the rest. And for me, it wasn't very good. We had all the usual guests from all the McConnells and all that we had. After that, where would we have went? One of the worst venues we had was Bowes, Fleet Street. Because I knew the girlfriend of the manager, and that's how we got in there. And we were sort of beggars can't be choosers, and we got in there. It wasn't a bad little room, but it was a bit small. And again, there was the parking thing around Delir Street, and, you know, had its problems. But there was a geezer worked up there, a young fella, again, and he was a Northern Ireland young fella, and he detested what we were doing, you know. And he used to be sniggering. He'd have a couple of his pals at the end of the bar when someone would be singing, you know, when he wasn't serving. And we had always asked him. At that time, the tills used to make an awful noise. They used to call them the Jews' piano, you know, the noise they used to make that. But he deliberately banged the bloody till, you know. Now, when we were up in Mays and in other pubs, they often wouldn't use the till because it was noisy. Yeah. They'd leave it open and just do the business without banging the keys. But this young fella wouldn't. We asked him on numerous occasions. And he'd have a pal talking with him, or two of them down the end of the bar. And they'd be talking, you know. Yeah. And I flew off the handle with him one evening, you know. I fucking read him, you know. I called him all sorts of names, you know. I didn't want to report him, you know. I didn't want to be a rat, you know, go down and squeal on him. I told him, you know. I said, look here. We're doing our thing, you know. And you know what we're at. And you know we need the quiet and all this and says, and you've no business doing what you're doing, like, you know. Yeah. You know, if you don't like the work here, why don't you check and get moved or whatever, you know. Because you're an imprint bloody get. I bloody read them, you know. And eventually we had to say it to the landlord or to the manager, you know. But he didn't move him. You know. Now I didn't know him, I only knew his mum, you know. Yeah. She worked in the cleaners down in Ann Street. I used to clean the windows of it. He was a nice fella now. He didn't move the young fella, but we moved in the Trinity Inn. It was the local pub for Liffey Wanderers, which are the oldest junior club in Ireland. They're must be nearly into 120 years. 120 years, you know. A long time for an amateur club to be going. And they had our little flags and our mementos around. And Pat was into Pat's, you know, St. Patrick's Athletic. He was a mad Patrick's Athletic fan. And he was amenable to what we were doing, you know, upstairs. And we had great years up there. But he sold it. And he moved out to Crumlin. He bought floods out in Crumlin. I was out there because, you know, my mum comes from there, you know, not far away, down up in Terranure. And I was up there anyway, and I dropped into him. And he was doing well. But that closed down. I think we could have moved temporarily into, what do you call it, the Brazen Head. It just wasn't big enough. It was literally that, you know, just wasn't big enough. I think you might have been playing, Brian Doyle here might have been playing there, playing his banjo with a gang of them in another room or out in the bar. I don't know, do you remember when we were there? We weren't there for long now, Brian. You know, in fairness to you, if you don't remember, it wouldn't surprise me. We weren't there for long, but they put up with us. Well, because they knew us, you know, because we used to be at the Sunday morning. Some of us, myself and a few more, Eddie McNamara and that, were always down, so they knew us, you know. We went back to the Trinity Inn when it opened, and he had made an atrium of upstairs. As it turned out, we were sort of a bit desperate for the place, you know, because the parking wasn't exactly the best around the Brazen at the time, you know, for those with cars. And Jerry O'Reilly and myself went down to the Trinity Inn when it reopened, and the owner, the woman behind the bar, and we said, can we talk to you? And she said, yeah, what's the story? And we said, well, we had a club here upstairs with the previous owner, and we were wondering what's the chances of having it back on Friday nights. Oh, she said, I heard there was something traditional going on up there on Friday nights. And we said, yeah. And I said, what was it? And we said, it was unaccompanied traditional singing. I said, what's that? You know, this is literally what she said. She said, what's that? And we said, well, it's people singing without music. We wouldn't want that. We wouldn't be, no, it wouldn't be our thing, you know. And that was that. We got the brush off. Anytime we were out of residence, it happened a couple of times, they always facilitated us in the teachers' club, which is where we are now, and it doesn't look like we'll ever move from there. They're happy with us, we're happy with them. The pub scene has changed in Dublin, changed in Ireland. You know, I can't see us going back to a pub now because you know, the pub it's a dodgy business to be in nowadays, you know. You don't know how long they're going to last.